Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and it educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. And it does it with Barb Schlinker. Proud to say that she's a veteran and the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many home sellers want to sell their homes for the most money that they can get. That just makes sense. However, there are some situations where people need to use other non traditional ways of selling. Tell us why it would be better for some people to take a cash offer versus the traditional way of selling a home. And what are you seeing in the market now as far as an increased demand for real estate investors?
Well, it's certainly better than it was a year ago as far as the real estate investment demand. And so that speaks to the quality of this market and that, people like living here and they see real estate as a good investment. Even the big box hedge fund guys that they're buying into this market and paying a pretty good price. Whereas if you go back to when the Fed first started raising rates towards the end of 2022, they stepped out for a while. But now, there's a real estate investor on every corner, pretty much, just like there's a real estate agent on every corner. And some of them, you wouldn't believe some of the calls I get. Like last week, this guy called and he goes, "I'm a real estate investor and I want to buy your listing over, 123 Main Street, and I want to take it subject to the current financing." So I don't know if you know what that means, Richard, but it means that they would like to give the seller a little bit of cash and just start making their payments, but not be on the hook for that mortgage. The seller would be. How would you like that?
Oh, this is why I appreciate working with you, Barb, because already I'm confused about this. It seems like it would be sus to me and there's some suspicion about is this good for me or not? But what I do know is I trust your judgment 100%, and that's why I've been recommending you to friends and family for years.
Well, thank you. And you got to be careful because they're all out there and they all went to, real estate investment school trying this type of thing. I was talking to one of my vendors yesterday and she said she went to one of those schools. And the first day, all they talked about was mindset. And they wanted $20,000 to be trained how to invest in real estate that way. And she didn't continue with the class. She left after the first day. But that was the kind of stuff that they were teaching. Oh, give them, borrow money on your credit card, if you can believe that, at 20% interest, and go out and offer them cash and take it subject to the current financing. And don't worry, it'll all work out, And it's like, I don't know who is teaching this stuff. It could work in some instances, but there's a ton of risk for the home seller because basically they're still on the hook for the mortgage. So if the mortgage doesn't get paid, guess whose credit gets tagged? It's the home seller, not the investor. So when we sit down with home sellers, we first of all we want to find out what is important to them. Do they need to sell fast? Do they not need to sell fast? Do they care about price? Some people don't care about price. They want timing. They have different criteria. So we want to know what is their criteria. Some people don't want to deal with people coming through their house. There's a big variety. So we have to ask them, first of all. And there are some people that need to sell quickly. And there are some homes that need extensive rehab. So there is a price for every one of these situations. If the home needs repairs, you could sell it as is. These fix and flip investors just love it. I've got a home on the market right now that's basically a fix and flip opportunity. It's worth maybe 410 at the highest. It's priced in the mid twos. So we left some room for a flipper, maybe, but the seller still wants the most money. So we have multiple offers I'm going to be presenting today, which I'm excited about because I don't know who's doing this, but somebody keeps sending people over, even though we're not allowing showings anymore, and just crawling around the house and going, "Oh, is this a good investment?" And I'm like, that's just rude. What would you think, Richard, if your house is on the market and somebody's crawling around your property?
Well, especially if they're just asking in front of me, is this a good investment or not? It,
Yeah.
it, it almost doesn't matter what the answer is, because if they're going to answer, oh, yeah, it's a great one, you know that they're sucking up to you. And it would just really torque me off if they said, nah, I think we got to move on.
Yeah. So I can't wait to get this thing off the market so that those people stop bothering them. And so, some people are moving for a job offer and they have to be at a location at a certain date. So maybe they're willing to take a cash offer and not deal with the uncertainty of a traditional sale. What do I mean by that? So most buyers are getting a loan. So to get a loan, their loan has to be approved. So the normal steps are they get a contract, they do inspection, they ask for stuff. And then after we've resolved that issue, then they send their appraiser out to give an opinion of value. And as long as the appraiser thinks that the home is worth that much, it's fine. But if not, we got a problem. So last year, I sold a home right around Memorial Day, and I love these clients. They were so fun. So they decided to price their home very realistically, right at market value, maybe slightly less. Similar sales were right there at the 650 point. The highest one that we could find like that was 700,000, but it was way different. It was completely remodeled with walls taken out and gorgeous views. So I didn't think it was really comparable. And the two highest offers, one was cash and the other was getting a loan. And so when I explained the process to the seller, first of all, he put me on the carpet. He's a ex-Marine officer, and he goes, Barb, I told you I wanted the most money. What are you going to do to get me the most money? So I played mom against dad. We got him up a little bit, but the problem was the highest numerical offer was getting a loan, which meant we had to prove the value to the appraiser. And I couldn't find similar sales to match that number. So there wasn't certainty that it was going to go through. So he looked at me and he goes, seems to me with this process, you're just wallowing around in the mud for about 3 weeks and then you close. Is that right? And I said, yeah, pretty much. That's it. I thought it was hilarious. Um, and so sellers don't like that. Once they accept a contract, they want to know, because they got a plan to move. That's a big hassle all by itself, that this deal is going to go through. And you wouldn't believe some of the stuff that happens. Just last week, I got into a very intense cat fight over a used refrigerator that failed, that's not really included as part of the real estate, but the seller was going to leave it behind. We told him it failed. We put in the contract as offered as is. And this guy called an attorney over whether or not this refrigerator should be funded by the seller. Is that crazy, Richard? Or am I just being...
Pump your brakes. Seriously, didn't you guys say it doesn't work and that it was crazy for him to want, or them to want, a refrigerator that didn't work, and then they turn around and talk about suing because it doesn't work?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So refrigerator, washer, and dryer are considered personal property. Okay. If you get those when you negotiate, same with the hot tub. If you get those things included with the sale, it's a present. An appraiser, I've got two appraiser clients right now. They don't give you value for those things. They're giving you value for the real estate, not the personal property. So when it failed, I told the buyer, so sorry, so sad. There is a provision in the contract that you have to give an equivalent value. So we went up on eBay and found a used 8-year-old Kenmore for $199.95. We offered that to the buyer. Oh my God, flopping on the floor, hissy fit, gonna terminate the deal over this $200 refrigerator, yet the sales price was pushing $1 million. And they wanted $2,000 for that used refrigerator. So I learned something from it. What I learned is I'm going to put in writing that if it fails during the contract, we're not replacing it. It's a gift. And that's the kind of stuff I deal with on a daily basis with real estate agents. That is a definition of wallowing around in the mud and gut punching and stuff like that. And I said, dude, big picture here, you're going to make thousands and thousands of dollars. You were the one that didn't even want to go to the inspection. You said it was a big waste of your time. And he had a meltdown, said, I never said that. Don't put words in my mouth. So I go into my inbox, I find the email where he put it in writing and emailed it to him. I said, isn't this your email? Didn't you say this? And he goes,
Brutal.
oh, well, I didn't mean that. So, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I have to deal with on a daily basis. These agents will trip over thousands to get to pennies and fight like cats and dogs over the dumbest things. And they feel like that's helping their client, but it's not. It's real. What it's doing is it's creating this animosity between buyer and seller that's really not necessary. And that's why there's some people that just will take a cash offer. So we offer that. There are some builders that won't offer a sales contingency at all. So if you have a house to sell, they're not going to accept your contract, or they'll tell you to sell it really quick. Otherwise, they won't even start the home if you're building a home from a dirt start. So that's why we do cash offers. And these things are really gaining momentum because you don't have to worry about buyer qualification. You don't have to worry about a cat fight on a $200 8-year-old Kenmore. And you don't have to worry about preparing your home for sale. It's sold as is at the price you want and need, and absolutely the least amount of hassle. So what we're seeing right now is a big rise in the amount of offers that we're getting from cash investors. And sellers are looking at it. Some of these investors, they want to flip the home and make a profit. Some want to hold it and rent it. Some, I talked about the subject to thing, which I think is very risky, but there are some buyers that just want to live in the home that have the skill to be able to fix it themselves. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team. Also the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about why more and more home sellers are considering cash offers. And we're seeing an increased demand from investors. And next up, we're going to talk about the benefits of accepting a cash offer and how you can get one in 24 hours. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're interested in selling your home or you want to call Barb for anything, give her a call at 719-301-3900. We're talking, Barb, about selling a home. And Barb, why would a home seller be interested in getting a cash offer for their home?
Well, I think it's all about uncertainty. So the typical sales process, you get your home ready for sale. It looks beautiful. The pictures are great. The buyers are coming through and they'll, tease you with a few questions. Oh, maybe, can you ask me about this? Oh, maybe that. And then you find out they bought another house, you know. And so it's very disappointing to go through that process. And now with the average days on market, anywhere from 60 to 90 days, you're having buyer after buyer go through your house and reject your home or reject it over some other home for one reason or another. And some people just want to get this done. So the benefit of a cash offer is you don't have to worry about an appraisal. You can close on your timeline. You don't have to deal with cat fights of agents. You have peace of mind of knowing your home is sold, minimal, if any, repairs, and the optimal resolution. So if you're interested in getting a cash offer, we are the only company in town that actually shows up and can give you instant cash offers on the spot and even go and get more and give you that certainty of closing. So if you're interested in getting one of those cash offers, give us a call. I have a home seller right now that accepted a cash offer. They were the original owners of this home out in Stetson Hills, really nice 2-story with an unfinished basement. The only problem is when they built it, they only put in 2 bedrooms, not 3. And that's a little bit of an oddity. Might be hard to sell that home. So they took the cash deal because that provided them the certainty that they need to move forward. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And Barb is the host of the program. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb, 719-301-3900. Or as always, visit Barb at barbhasthebuyers.com. Short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how to sell a home owned by a family member that has passed away. Plus, Barb's hot new listings. You don't want to miss either of those.